The words landed on my patio like somebody dropping a glass and watching it shatter. The music kept rolling from a Bluetooth speaker sitting near the lemon tree, like nothing happened. Kids were splashing around in the shallow end of the pool. I was at the grill, flipping ribs and minding my own business, when my wife, Ashley, lifted her wine like she was holding a microphone and laughed way too loud. Then she said it. She said, "Every man here has been with me." For a second, the whole backyard froze. The laughing around the fire pit died off like somebody unplugged it. Tyler stopped with his bottle halfway to his mouth. Logan stared down at the turf like he had lost a contact lens. Brandon worked his jaw and looked past me, like the moon suddenly became important. That was not an accident. That was a show. In my yard. At my table. In front of my people. I set the tongs down. I did not raise my voice. I already knew staying calm would matter later, especially when divorce lawyers got involved. The heat from the grill hit my face. The speaker kept playing its happy beat like it did not get the message. Nobody was dancing. Ashley narrowed her eyes at me, like I had done something to her. "Oh, come on," she said. "It's a joke." I did not even look at her. "Tyler," I said. He did not answer. He pulled the bottle away and pressed his tongue against his lips, staring at the fence line like he was looking for an exit. "Logan," I said. He tried to smile. It looked like it hurt. "It was before," he said. "Old news." Brandon cleared his throat one time. "I didn't know you two were serious, man," he said. Ashley reached out and put a hand on my arm. "Stop," she said. "You're ruining my party." I took her hand off me like it was warm plastic, and I did it slow, so nobody could pretend they did not see it. Then I turned to the 3 guys I had known since college. The same 3 men I built a company with. I nodded toward the gate. "We're done," I said. Tyler stepped forward. "Wait. Don't." I cut him off. "You 3 are standing in my yard while my wife turns this into an open microphone night," I said. "Not tonight. Not again." Logan's face twitched. "It was before you," he said, like that made it better. Around us, the neighbors went quiet. People stopped pretending they were not listening. My project manager, Samantha, stood there holding a plate of potato salad, eyes wide like she had just watched a car wreck. My next-door neighbor, Doug, froze in the middle of talking about his new sprinkler controller, mouth still half open. It was Phoenix in July, the kind of heat that makes the air feel alive, and even the air felt like it was watching. Ashley tried to laugh it off. "He can't take a joke," she said, like I was the problem. I looked at the guests. "Party's over," I said. Then I looked at my wife. "And you're packing." If I had known everything that was coming later, I would have shut it down even faster. But right then, I wanted facts, not noise. I wanted the truth, not some messy argument in front of the whole neighborhood. People started moving. Parents gathered towels and grabbed kids. The backyard turned into quiet footsteps and nervous goodbyes. I walked the 3 guys to the gate. No yelling. No big scene. Just the soft slide of the latch, and then the 3 of them standing on the other side of it, suddenly looking smaller than they ever had. Tyler started to say something again. I lifted my hand. He swallowed whatever he was going to say and backed off. Ashley followed me across the patio, her heels clicking on the travertin. "So now you're king," she said. "I've been running this house and that company." I looked at her and kept my voice flat. "You just found out there are rules," I said. "You're overreacting," she snapped. I turned back to the grill, checked it, and shut off the gas. "Pack a bag," I said. "You're not throwing me out in front of everyone." She stepped closer. "You wanted an audience," she said. She grabbed my wrist. I looked down at her grip, and I did not move until she let go. "Pack," I repeated. "We'll talk after." "You won't really," she said. "I already did," I told her. I pulled my phone out and called my brother, Derek. He picked up on the second ring. "You good?" he asked. "Swing by," I said. 15 minutes. "On the way," he said. Ashley heard his name and shook her head. "You called your brother?" she said. "Are you serious?" "He's calm," I said. "He's fair. You want fair, right?" She stared at me like she could not believe I meant it. "You are unbelievable." "I am tired," I said. A moment later, the gate clicked again as Derek's truck pulled up. He came into the yard like he was stepping onto a job site to pick up a toolbox. Same face as mine. He is a contractor, all forearms and calluses, the kind of guy who keeps crews on schedule with one steady voice. He nodded once at Ashley. "Grab what you need," he said. She tried to drag him into it. "Derek, he's being." He cut her off. "Not my lane," he said. "Let's go." She looked at me like she wanted to win something. "I live here," she said. "Then get what you want to take when you leave," I said. You can come back for the rest later with a list and notice. Derek looked at me, then at her. I'll wait at the curb, he said. Then he turned and walked out. Ashley stood there, eyes bouncing between me and the house like she was doing math in her head. Then she went inside. No door slam. That surprised me a little. I stayed by the grill and scraped it clean, slow and steady, like it was any normal Sunday night. A few minutes later, she came back out with a tote bag and a rolled-up makeup bag. You'll regret humiliating me, she said. You humiliated me, I said. I just closed the tab. She took a step toward me. There were people here, I added. She shook her head. You didn't have to do all that, she said. You picked people. You did it in public, I told her. So we fix it in public. She stared at me for another second, then turned and walked out. Derek did not look at me when she got to the truck. He just opened the passenger door and nodded. The truck's tail lights turned at the end of the street and vanished. After that, my yard went quiet. The only sound left was a neighbor's misting system hissing to life. I stood there a second, then went back to work. I covered the grill and started stacking plates. I was not shaking. I was not falling apart. I was making decisions. If I honestly believed that backyard mess was the worst of it, I would have gone to bed and slept like a rock. But I knew better. Monday morning, the heat bounced off the glass of our office building like it was trying to claw its way inside. I showed up early, got into my office, shut the door, and I wrote 3 letters. I filled out 3 voluntary resignation letters, names already typed in, blanks already filled. Then I printed 3 termination notices for cause. I made sure the policy sections were printed in bold. That policy did come from me, but it existed for a reason. Our hiring runs on trust, and trust only works when people do not get sloppy. We deal with access, clients, money, and reputation. Then I sent 1 calendar invite. Mandatory. Conference room A, 8:30 in the morning. They walked in together like we were back in college again, late for a lab we had not studied for. Tyler sat down first. He flopped his arms on the table and tried to smirk like he could talk his way out of it. Logan picked the chair at the far end like he was sitting for a deposition he did not cause. Brandon took the seat closest to the door and stared at the frosted window like it might open up and save him. I slid 2 neat stacks of paper into the middle of the table. Pick one, I said. Tyler frowned. You're firing us. I'm giving you a choice, I told him. You walk out clean, or you walk out with a reason stapled to your file. Logan pulled 1 page closer using 2 fingers, like it might bite him. This is extreme, he said. What you 3 did was extreme, I said. I leaned forward a little, still calm. You sat at my table for years. You came into my house almost every weekend. You looked me in the face and never said a word. Then my wife stood on my patio and made a joke with your names inside it. Logan opened his mouth. It was before you 2 were married. Brandon tried to jump in. You're acting like we. You hit it after, I said, cutting him off. That's the part that matters. Tyler leaned forward and lowered his voice, like he was doing me a favor. This is personal, he said. It has nothing to do with the job. I looked at all 3 of them. You've been my senior engineer. You've been my operations guy. You've been my estimator, I said. We do not run this place on a punch clock. We run it on loyalty. I pointed at the stacks. Clients call me at 9 at night. I call you. You show up. I put you in rooms based on trust. You did not look me in the eye and tell me the truth. That is not some separate bucket. That's the same water. Logan rubbed his temple. We didn't lie, he said. We just didn't bring up ancient history. I shook my head. You let me build around you while you held a secret that had a price tag on it, I said. You let her sit in our box seats. You let her come on our trips. You let her build a whole social circle on the company's dime. And you said nothing. I let that hang there. That's not ancient, I said. That's current. Tyler jabbed a finger at the papers. This is wrong, Austin, he said, using my name like it was a weapon. What would you do in my position? And right here, I need to break for a quick second, because this part matters for the way this story gets shared. If you are still listening, please tap the like button. It helps YouTube recommend this story to more people. I appreciate it. All right, back to it. I looked at Tyler and said, I would handle my household in my house. He shook his head. Not here. I did both, I said. You're not in my house right now. You're in my office. Read the policy. Brandon picked up the termination notice and scanned it. He read out loud, like he could argue with the words. Violation of corporate ethics. Reputational risk. Conflict of interest. Then he looked up at me. You wrote this to be flexible, he said. I wrote it because we hire friends, I told him. And friends can burn a business down when they get sloppy. I tapped the stacks again. Choose. Logan licked his lips. So we go quiet and you bury us, he said. You resign and you leave with a handshake, I answered. Or you get terminated for cause, and anyone who calls me gets the full truth. Tyler shoved his chair back. You cannot be serious. I'm done being played, I said. Pick a page. Brandon looked between us, trying to calm it down. Austin, come on, he said. One stupid joke. That joke told my clients, my neighbors, and half my staff something I did not know, I said. And your faces told me it was true. Logan finally reached for a pen. His hand shook at first, then steadied. He signed the resignation letter. Tyler stared at him like he had committed treason. Brandon let out a slow breath and grabbed a pen too. You'll regret making this public, he said. You made it public, I told him. He signed. Tyler did not. He grabbed the termination notice for cause and shoved it back toward me. There's your show, he said. Fire me. I initialed the bottom line, right in front of him, and I slid the paper through the open door to Human Resources. Please process that, I said to Denise, without taking my eyes off Tyler. An escort when ready. Denise's heels tapped down the hallway and away. Tyler stood up. I'll see you again, he said. I figured, I said. He walked out. Logan and Brandon followed behind him, quiet like men who finally realized the light they were standing in had turned red. When the door shut, the silence hit the room. I sat with it for a moment. Then I picked up the phone, called accounting, and had their company cards frozen. The building lock codes were changed by 10 o'clock. I opened Slack and dropped a short message in the management channel. Personnel changes today. Details by end of day. Client coverage will be handled by me and Samantha. Questions? Message me directly. Then I messaged Samantha right after. You okay pulling double this week? She wrote back fast. Got you. And you okay? Better than yesterday, I typed. A minute later she knocked and leaned into my office with her laptop tucked against her hip. That was a lot, she said. It was overdue, I told her. She studied my face like she was checking the weather. You want me in the room if anything gets messy? You'll get it, I said. But not today. She nodded, calm and measured. Samantha does not get scared of silence. That is one of the reasons she is still here. Then she lowered her voice. By the way, last night, on the patio, I was there. I kept my eyes on her. You handled it, she said. That wasn't handling, I told her. That was the first step. Understood, she said, and she left. When I sat back down, my phone buzzed. Ashley. I let it ring until it stopped. Then I opened my calendar and blocked off the whole afternoon. I did not trust my temper. I trusted my systems. I came home early. First thing I did was take her framed photos off the shelf. I laid them into a flat box and stacked it by the entry like a package that needed to go out. Then I pulled her key fob from the bowl by the door and sealed it in an envelope with her name written on the front. I changed the alarm code. I also wrote down a different temporary code and left it for my brother Derek to use later, in case she needed to come back with a mover to pick up furniture. I texted Derek. Access for her stuff will be scheduled. Thanks for last night. He texted back a thumbs up. Nothing else. That is how he is. Ashley called again. Then again. I did not pick up. If she wanted to talk, she could use the front door like an adult. About an hour later, she did. I opened the door, but I did not step aside. I leaned on it and held my ground. You're not answering, she said. I'm answering now, I told her. We need to talk. After you collect your things, I said. The spare bedroom closet is empty. Use it. Her eyes flashed. You're punishing me. I'm protecting my boundaries, I said. From disrespect, she made it sound like I was being dramatic. It was a joke. Say it again like you said it last night, I told her. Say it out loud right here. I want to hear how it lands in a quiet house. She stared at me. You're enjoying this. No, I said. I'm doing this. She shifted into a new tone, one she probably used on people when she wanted something. Fine, she said. Then tell me what you want. Tell me what the fix is. You pack, I said. Derek picks you up. We put distance in place. Then I'll listen. But the outcome is likely the same. Divorce, she said, like it tasted bad. Call it whatever you want, I answered. The consequences are what they are. Her face tightened like she was holding something back. Then she stepped past me anyway. She grabbed the box by the entry and carried it down the hall like she was moving equipment, not memories. I watched her go. She did not slam doors. She did not cry. She handled picture frames and jewelry like she was late for a flight. When she came back, She stopped and looked me straight in the eyes. I was stupid, she said. It was before. I was young. I shouldn't have said it like that. I'll make it up to you. I shook my head once. That's not a price you can pay, I told her. And that is not even an apology you owe me. She blinked. It's a sales pitch, I said. You're trying to keep your spot. Her lips pressed tight. You're cold. I've been warm for years, I said. You liked it better that way. She flared, looked away, then tried again with a softer voice. Let me stay tonight, she said. Just tonight. We can keep our space. I just need a minute to figure out where to go. Not tonight, I said. She looked past me, toward the street. Derek's outside, I told her. Right on cue, a horn chirped. One short honk. I had texted him when she pulled up. She stared out toward the driveway, then back at my face. You're really doing this? I already did, I said. She let out a short breath through her nose. Fine. Then she walked out. When the door clicked shut behind her, the house felt bigger. The quiet did not echo. It settled, like dust after a door closes. About an hour later, my phone lit up with texts from Logan and Brandon. I did not answer. The next morning, it lit up again. This time, it was a formal notice from a lawyer they hired. Wrongful termination, it said, like it knew me. The letter was full of shiny phrases. Personal history not impacting professional performance. Retaliatory dismissal. Lack of due process. They moved faster than I expected. I smiled, but there was no joy in it. Just recognition. I put on my jacket and left. I drove to Hendrickson Lowe. The managing partner at that firm had spoken at a business breakfast 3 years earlier and handed out cards. I had kept his card and never threw it away. I walked into their lobby, gave my name, and sat in a chair designed to make a man feel smaller than he is. A young attorney came out to get me. She looked like a graduate student the world had not managed to break yet. Smart eyes, calm face, hair pulled back neat and tight. She held out her hand. Lauren Park, she said. Nice to meet you. She looked at me like she was filing details in her head. And you're Austin. That's me, I said. This way, she said. Conference room 3. Once we sat down, she let me talk for 3 minutes. I did not even get to breathe at the end of it before she raised one finger. Let me see the letters you gave them. I slid the paperwork across the table. She read fast. Her eyes moved like they were scanning a blueprint. Finally, she nodded. The policy language is clean, she said. Not perfect, but usable. She set the pages down and looked at me. They're going to argue you fired them for something that happened in your living room, she said. I did not flinch. They're going to argue it was an emotional decision, she continued, and that you violated your own procedures. I leaned back and waited. She tapped the paperwork once. We'll frame it as a breakdown of trust, she said, inside a culture built on access. I nodded, because that was the truth. It matters even more when the culture was built around you, Lauren said. That sounds flattering, I told her. It is not, she said, steady as a level. It's leverage. Your leadership identity is the business identity. They understood that. So did your wife. I lifted an eyebrow. You already heard about the party, I said. You led with it, she replied, not smiling. I needed that. Now walk me through the timeline. So I did. I gave her dates. When I met Ashley. When the company was formed. When the guys came on board. Team dinners. Holidays. A ski trip where Tyler brought a woman who disappeared from the picture later. She drew boxes and lines on a legal pad like a builder sketching out framing. Any internal noise about favoritism? She asked. Some grumbling last year, I said. We hired Samantha over Logan's recommendation. He sulked. Probably sent emails. Find them, she said. I looked up. Why? I want anything that hints at special treatment, she said. Not because we prove favoritism, but because it shows how heavy perception already was. Also, I need your ethics policy in everyone's onboarding packet. They already have it, I said. Good. Then I looked at her. No offense, I said, but you look like you passed the bar last week. I passed 2 years ago, she said, calm as ever. And I like cases like this. They are about honest culture, not paperwork tricks. You kept your rules tight. That helps. And if we lose? I asked. Then you settle, she said. But I do not think we lose. You sound confident. I sound prepared, she said. I breathed out slow. Okay. She closed her notebook. When we get in front of a judge, she said, they will try to paint you as a hothead. You will not help them. You will answer clean. You will not drift into marriage talk unless I ask. She leaned in just slightly. You will say, I made a decision about trust within my leadership team, and then you will stop talking. I can do that, I said. One more thing, she added. You look less sympathetic if your house still looks like a shrine to your marriage. If they subpoena photos or social media, I want distance. Already boxed, I said. Good. She stood. Next step, she said. I am sending discovery requests for communications between the three of them. If they coordinated, I want it on paper. Thank you, I said. Do not thank me yet, she replied. Let's earn it. Let me pause here for just a second. If you are still listening, hit the like button. It helps YouTube push this story to more people. I appreciate it. Now back to it. We prepped for 2 weeks. I pulled emails, threads, old internal messages. We found operations chats where junior staff asked if there were untouchables. And human resources note about Tyler joking in the break room that being close to the boss was job insurance. Then a message from Logan to Brandon. He will never cut us. He owes us. Lauren circled that one twice. Ashley tried contacting me twice during that window. The first was a late-night call. Soft voice. The one she used when she wanted me to choose a restaurant and pick up the check. I messed up, she said. I was stupid. Let me come home. I'll sleep in the guest room. We'll figure it out. I let the silence stretch until her tone collapsed under its own weight. No, I said. The guest room is for my nephew when Derek brings him on weekends. You're punishing me, she said. I'm setting a schedule, I replied. That's different. She sniffed. I knew you were rigid, she said. But this? I'm consistent, I said. You never liked that. Click. The second time she asked to stop by for clothes. I texted back. Make a list. Derek will meet the movers. I will not be home. She sent an eye roll emoji. So you want to make this ugly? We passed pretty already, I texted back. Court day arrived like heat after a short breeze. We sat at a long table. Logan and Brandon to the left with their attorney, a man with perfect hair and a tie that told you he liked mirrors. Tyler sat farther back, arms locked tight, jaw pushed forward like he was bracing for impact. Their lawyer opened by trying to turn me into a man with a temper, a leader who reacts emotionally, a guy who makes rash calls over personal slights. He said impulsive like it was my nickname. Lauren stood up. She laid out facts like rungs on a ladder and climbed them without raising her voice. This is not a household dispute, she told the judge. This is a leadership breach inside a company that runs on reputation and access. These men withheld material context from the person who built the culture and placed them in positions with privileged exposure. The triggering event simply revealed it. She placed exhibits on the table. Numbered. Plain. Boring. The boring stuff wins. Emails. Policy acknowledgments. Onboarding checklists with their signatures lined up neat. Paper does not shout. It just sits there. And that is what broke them. The judge did not smile once. He read the filings, asked 3 short questions, and listened carefully when I said, steady and plain, I made a decision about trust in my leadership team. That was it. Then he looked at both sides and delivered a ruling that told me something important. That moment in my yard had not just been a strong stand. It had been the start of a clean exit. Out on the courthouse steps, there were no reporters. We are not that kind of company. But Tyler was there. He walked up like the door was still cracked open. You ruined 3 careers because your wife embarrassed you, he said. No, I told him. You ruined your own by sitting at my table and keeping your mouth shut. I just reset my standards where they should have been. Logan tried to jump in. Can we talk? We just did, I said, and I turned away. Brandon did not step forward. He stared at the ground like the brickwork might split open and swallow him. Lauren slid her bag onto her shoulder. Coffee to celebrate? She asked. I don't celebrate losing people, I said. But I appreciate your work. Call it a debrief, she said. Rain check, I replied. I've got a house to finish clearing. You do what you do. She nodded. I steady things, she said. Call me if they make noise. Then she paused. You held the line in public, she added. Most people fold in private. That matters. It wasn't for points, I said. I know, she replied. That's why it worked. I drove home with the windows up and the air conditioning grinding through the desert heat. I punched the gate code and let it open slow while the sun burned the back of my neck through the glass. The yard looked the same. Everything else did not. Ashley called that night. You feel good now? She asked. I feel clean, I said. You wrecked them, she said. You could have just let them resign. I gave them the option. You always need to prove something. You already proved it, I said. She went quiet, then snapped back. You think you're noble, but you're petty. You said that line in my yard like you were handing out party favors. You said it. I reminded her. In public. You could have kept this between us, she said. A real man would have. Stop, I said. Do not pitch a version of me that fits your comfort. You're unbearable, she whispered. I'm unavailable, I said, and I hung up. 2 days later, she showed up without a bag. It was morning. I had rearranged the furniture to open up the living room. I had taken our wedding photo off the mantel. It was a good picture. Nice light. Decent suit. It was in a drawer now with the passports. She stepped inside like the house still remembered her weight. I'm not here to fight, she said. I'm here to apologize. Go ahead, I said. You didn't deserve that, she said. Any of it. I wanted control. I wanted attention. I thought I could say something stupid and clean it up later. I was wrong. You were, I said. I'm not asking to come back, she said fast, reading my face. I just want to say I'm sorry when you can hear it without thinking I'm working an angle. I let the words sit. Okay, I said. I accept the apology. She stepped half a pace closer. There's no follow-up, I said. There's a period. She closed her mouth. I know I wrecked your respect, she said. I know I made you look small in your circle. I know what that costs a man like you. I didn't look small, I said. I looked finished. She glanced around at the open space, at the mantel where a plain bowl sat instead of our picture. You moved fast. I didn't wait, I said. You like to test and retract. I do not play that game anymore. I'm not testing, she said quietly. I had to look you in the eye and say I messed up. I loved what we built. You loved the platform, I said. The dinners. The events. The easy doors because of my name. You loved the safety net. You make me sound shallow. I'm done dressing things up, I said. She shoved her hands into her pockets like she did not know where to put them. So what happens now? I reached for the envelope tucked under the bowl on the mantel. It had tabs. It had been ready since Monday. I wanted to hand it over when I could say it clean. What's that? She asked. Papers, I said. The terms are fair. I'm not burning the house down. I'm locking the door. You already signed? I did. You can add your signature and we end this like adults. Quietly. No last acts. She took the envelope but did not open it. Is there anything I can say to change this? There's plenty you could say, I told her. It would not change it. You're not even angry. I said. Then I chose a line and crossed it. You'll find someone else and pretend none of this happened. I won't pretend, I said. I'll remember. I'll do better. And me? You'll learn, I said. Or you won't. Either way, this part is over. She looked at me for another second, then nodded once. A stiff motion that probably hurt. I'll sign, she said. Give it to Derek, I told her. He'll get it where it needs to go. And that was it. You won't even let me bring it back here, she asked, lifting her chin. No, I said. This door is for other things now. She did not cry. She did not raise her voice. She stepped to the threshold and paused like she wanted one last line. You're colder than I thought. I'm clearer than you wanted, I said. She nodded once and left. The envelope stayed tucked under her arm, neat and flat, like a prop that finally landed in the right scene. I took a breath. Real air. The kind that fills a space that had been running at half capacity for too long. Then I picked up my keys and went on with my day. If this story needed a victory dance, it did not get one. It got appointments kept on time. It got staff meetings where people asked fair questions and got straight answers. It got an office where Samantha moved into Brandon's old desk and did not miss a step. It got 2 new hires recommended by a guy in Dallas who used to compete with us and now wanted to trade work. It got me answering my own front door at 9 at night to my brother's kid, grinning around a popsicle, asking if the guest room still had the cool blanket. It did. 3 weeks after the paperwork went out, I ran into Doug at the mailbox. He leaned against the metal and squinted into the morning sun. Heard you had a party blow up, he said. You were there, I replied. I watched it, he said. Pretended I didn't. But I saw you keep your voice down. That's rare. I don't do noise, I said. He nodded once. You trimmed your hedges, he said, like it meant more than landscaping. I trimmed more than that, I told him. Good, he said, then lowered his voice. Saw Tyler at the hardware store. Looked like a man who cut his own hose by mistake. He'll live, I said. Yeah, Doug said. Some folks only learn from sharp objects. He laughed and walked back to his driveway, shaking his head. Later that day, Samantha caught me in the hallway. Lunch with a potential client at 1, she said. He asked for you. I'll be there. Then she added, holding the moment just a beat longer. By the way, Lauren called. Appeal window closed. No action. File's done. Tell her thank you. I said. Tell her yourself, Samantha replied, biting back a smile. She invited you for coffee again. Is this you pushing me back into a social life? This is me keeping you alive, she said. Fine, I said. Put it on the calendar. Friday. Friday afternoon, I walked into a small place 2 blocks from the courthouse. Lauren was already there with 2 mugs on the table and a legal pad she never opened. You look less tired, she said. I moved furniture, I replied. It helps. I like winning, she said. I like earning it, I said. She held my eyes for a second. You want to talk about anything not in a file? Sure, I said. Tell me why you like boring exhibits. They don't argue back, she said. And they don't lie. People do. They do, I agreed. We talked for an hour about old cases and how small businesses live or die by the worst 5 minutes of the year. We did not talk about Ashley. We did not need to. 2 months later, the house felt different. I swapped the big sectional for 2 smaller couches and a solid chair that actually fit me. I sold the sport utility vehicle Ashley insisted on because it matched our image and parked a used pickup truck in the driveway instead. My brother and I built a workbench in the garage and finally leveled shelves we had ignored for years. I started lifting again in the mornings. I cooked eggs in a pan that did not match anything else because it did not have to. People like to ask about endings, like they come with music. They do not. They come with initiative. They come with clean paperwork. They come with the right people in the right seats, and the wrong ones removed quietly with a signature instead of a scene. Ashley's name comes up now and then. I heard she moved in with a friend across town. I heard she tried working in event planning, and it did not last once the invitations changed and my name stopped opening doors. I do not chase details. I do not need to know where she landed to know where I am standing. My last word to her happened at the door when I handed her that envelope. That was the point. She wanted comfort, control, and status without paying the price. I paid it once, in public, without noise. Now when I lock up at night, I walk through a house that does not owe me an apology. The yard still bakes at dusk. The lemon tree is still stubborn. Sometimes I catch a game with Doug. Sometimes Derek swings by with his kid for burgers. Sometimes Lauren and I meet for coffee that turns into dinner, and we talk about anything except courtrooms. If you are waiting for a last-minute romantic rescue of the old story, you will be waiting alone. I rescued myself. She dropped her line on my patio and expected me to juggle it. I put it down. I picked up mine. We are done.